Good morning. It's Friday, January the 29th, and this is The Drill. Thank you. The prayer of the day from the book titled Daily Declarations for Spiritual Warfare. I will remember you and will bless you. I will bless your house and all those who fear me, small and great alike. Because of my great love and faithfulness to you, I will increase you more and more, both you and your children. The silver and gold idols of this world have been made by human hands. They have mouths but cannot speak, eyes but they cannot see, ears but they cannot hear. Those who make them will be like them, and so will all who trust in them. But you, my servant, trust only in me. I am your help and shield. You who once walked in darkness have seen a great light. I have changed or enlarged your life and increased your joy. I've shattered the yoke that burdened you, the bar across your shoulder, and the rod of those who tried to oppress you. Lord, not us, but to your name be the glory, because of your love and faithfulness. You will remember us and will bless us. You will bless all those who fear your name and will cause me to flourish, both me and my children. I will extol your great name both now and forevermore. Amen. Welcome to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. I'm Ron, your host and the only true conservative in the United States today. Today, President Trump's second State of the Union address, and when will it be time to panic? All that when I come back. Thank you very much. I'm not going to read President Trump's second State of the Union address in its entirety, but merely some excerpts, because it would probably take me well over an hour to read the entire address. So it's from a book called The Addresses of Donald J. Trump, The Complete, and it's supposed to be updated and everything. So this is an excerpt or excerpts of the State of the Union 2018, his second one. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, members of Congress, the First Lady of the United States, and my fellow Americans. Less than 1 year has passed since I first stood at this podium in this majestic chamber to speak on behalf of the American people and to address their concerns, their hopes, and their dreams. That night, our new administration had already taken swift action. A new tide of optimism was already sweeping across our land. Each day since, we have gone forward with a clear vision and a righteous mission to make America great again for all Americans. Over the last year, we have made incredible progress and achieved extraordinary success. We have faced challenges we expected and others we could never have imagined. We have shared in the heights of victory and the pains of hardship. We endured floods and fires and storms, but through it all, we've seen the beauty of American soul and the steel in America's spine. Each test has forged new American heroes to remind us who we are and show us what we can be. We saw the volunteers of the Cajun Navy racing to rescue with their fishing boats to save people in the aftermath of a devastating hurricane. We saw strangers shielding strangers from a hail of gunfire on the Las Vegas Strip. We heard tales of Americans like Coast Guard Petty Officer Ashley Leppert, who is here tonight in the gallery with Melania. Ashley was aboard one of the first helicopters on the scene in Houston during Hurricane Harvey. Through 18 hours of wind and rain, Ashley braved live power lines in deep water to help save more than 40 lives. Thank you, Ashley. We heard about Americans taking like firefighter David Dahlberg. He is here with us too. David faced down walls of flame to rescue almost 60 children trapped at a California summer camp threatened by wildfires. To everyone still recovering in Texas, Florida, Louisiana, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, California, and everywhere else, we are with you. We love you, and we will pull through together. Some trials over the past year touched this chamber very personally. With us tonight is one of the toughest people ever to serve in this House, a guy who took a bullet, almost died, and was back to work 3.5 months later. The legend from Louisiana, Congressman Steve Scalise. We're incredibly grateful for the heroic efforts of the Capitol police officers, the Alexandria police, and the doctors, nurses, and paramedics who saved his life and the lives of many others in this room. In the aftermath of that terrible shooting, we came together not as Republicans or Democrats, but as representatives of the people. But it is not enough to come together only in times of tragedy. Tonight, I call upon all of us to set aside our differences, to seek out common ground, and to summon the unity we need to deliver for the people we were elected to serve. Over the last year, the world has seen what we always knew, that no people on earth are so fearless or daring or determined as Americans. If there is a mountain, we climb it. If there is a frontier, we cross it. If there is a challenge, we tame it. If there is an opportunity, we seize it. So let us begin tonight by recognizing that the state of our union is strong because our people are strong. And together we are building a safe, strong, and proud American. Since the election, we have created 2.4 million new jobs, including 200,000 new jobs in manufacturing alone. After years of wage stagnation, we are finally seeing rising wages. Unemployment claims have hit a 45-year low. African American unemployment stands at the lowest rate ever recorded, and Hispanic American unemployment has also reached the lowest levels in history. Small business confidence is at an all-time high. The stock market has smashed one record after another, gaining $8 trillion in value. That is great news for Americans' 401k, retirement, pension, and college savings accounts. And just as I promised the American people from this podium 11 months ago, we enacted the biggest tax cuts and reforms in American history. Our massive tax cuts provide tremendous relief for the middle class and small businesses. To lower tax rates for hardworking Americans, we nearly doubled the standard deduction for everyone. Now, the first $24,000 earned by a married couple is completely tax-free. We also doubled the child tax credit. Typical family of four making $75,000 will see their tax bill reduced by $2,000, slashing their tax bill in half. This April will be the last time you ever file under the old broken system, and millions of Americans will have more take-home pay starting next month. We eliminated an especially cruel tax that fell mostly on Americans making less than $50,000 a year, forcing them to pay tremendous penalties simply because they could not afford government-ordered health plans. We repealed the core of the disastrous Obamacare. The individual mandate is now gone. We slashed the business tax rate from 35% all the way down to 21%, so American companies can compete and win against anyone in the world. These changes alone are estimated to increase average family income by more than $4,000. Small businesses have also received a massive tax cut and can now deduct 20% of their business income. Here tonight are Steve Staub and Sandy Keplinger of Staub Manufacturing, a small business in Ohio. They've just finished the best year in their 20-year history because of tax reform. They are handing out raises, hiring an additional 14 people, and expanding into the building next door. One of Staub's employees, Corey Adams, is also with us tonight. Corey is an All-American worker. He supported himself through high school, lost his job during the 2008 recession, and was later hired by Staub, where he trained to become a welder. Like many hardworking Americans, Corey plans to invest his tax cut raise into his new home and his two daughters' education. Please join me in congratulating Corey. Since we passed tax cuts, roughly 3 million workers have already gotten tax cut bonuses, many of them thousands of dollars per worker. Apple has just announced it plans to invest a total of $350 billion in America and hire another 20,000 workers. This is our new American moment. There's never been a better time to start living the American dream. So to every citizen watching at home tonight, no matter where you have been or where you come from, this is your time. If you work hard, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in America, then you can dream anything, you can be anything, and together we can achieve anything. And the rest of it goes on to his plans for what it is that he wants to go ahead and get done in the next year or so. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it right there. And again, a kind of a nostalgic, a little bit of nostalgia, I guess. But it's interesting to listen to that, listen to the specificity about what he's talking about, the pride in America. Donald Trump is clearly not neutral. He's not a neutral man. He's pro-America, he's pro-American. And that comes across clearly in this speech. And this is what we should all be striving for, is to shed and rid ourselves of neutrality in our personal lives and in politics. So when I come back, I'm going to be talking about when it's time to panic. Thank you. Lately, there's been a lot of hysterical predictions or rumors coming from various sources. Here's a guideline on what to believe. If I hear anything about former President Trump, I treat it as a rumor, and the only time that I'm going to take it seriously is if I hear it from Trump himself. If I hear anything coming from news agencies, particularly about the B-word administration, I will take it as a rumor and or as a bluff on the part of the Democrat Party. You hear a lot of things about the Democrat Party threatens to do this, the Democrat Party threatens to do that. Again, rumors, bluffs, until I see otherwise. The news organizations today, all of them, Fox included, are really nothing more than propaganda outlets and rumor mills. All they do is promote rumors. So the Democrat Party has been making all kinds of bluffs recently, such as stacking the Supreme Court, etc. Every day the Democrat Party adds to its wish list of things that it wants to get done. And I remind you that they have only 1 year to turn their wishes into reality before campaigns for 2022 start up in earnest. Just getting Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. to become states will take well over a year. First thing they have to do is they're going to have to get each one of those entities to have an election. And the people themselves in Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico will have to vote to join the union. Once that's done, then Congress has to take action. So it's going to have to go through the House, it's got to go through the Senate, and the president has to sign the bill into action. After that's done, then, assuming that both of these entities agree to join the union, Puerto Rico, by the way, has had many initiatives or referendums about joining the union. And every time it's come up, the Puerto Ricans have said, thank you, but no thank you. They're not interested. So even if that gets done, both of those get done, then you have to have another election. Both of them have to have elections to elect their senators. So, and then after the senators get elected, then you're going to have to go through the process, of course, of using those senators to go ahead and expand the Supreme Court. And that's a process that's going to take time as well. But in the meantime, this time next year, we have campaigns beginning in earnest. We also are going to have, the districts are going to be redrawn. The vast majority of state legislatures are in Republican control, so we can anticipate that there are going to be more Republican districts than Democrat districts. And so we can therefore look forward to more Republicans in Congress. It doesn't guarantee anything. Every one of us on the right has been disappointed by rhinos, the Mitt Romneys of the party, the bane of the existence of the party. But it is something to, it's good reason not to be depressed. Let's put it that way. And so, and more importantly, what does it tell the Democrats? Again, that they're going to have everything done by the time the 2022 election is over, because otherwise they may very well find themselves out of power in the House and very possibly the Senate, okay, and the only thing they'll have is the White House. We will have a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court, the House, and very possibly the Senate. So at that particular point, all their dreams are going to come crashing down. So don't get depressed. Don't think there's a lot of people out there literally saying this is the end of our republic. I heard it yesterday from a caller to Rush Limbaugh. This is the end of our republic. No, it isn't. Okay, take a deep breath and look at reality. Don't take my word for it that this is not the end of our republic. Okay, Rush Limbaugh will tell you, don't doubt me. I tell you, doubt me. Doubt me. Please doubt me. Check it for yourself. Okay, and check and see what the procedure is. Go and Google it or Wikipedia it or whatever you have to do to find out what the process is to get a state added to the Union. You're going to find out it's something that the left can't just snap their fingers and make happen overnight. It's going to be a lengthy process and probably a process that's going to go well into the 2022, probably maybe even past the November elections. So, and again, we have more than likely we're going to have a Republican majority in the House, may have a Republican majority in the Senate. We're still not going to have anybody decent in the White House, but hopefully in 2024 that can be corrected. The point is that there's good reason to be optimistic. The glass is not half full. The glass is 3/4 full and probably going to get fuller. So, the left makes all of their bluffs to provoke us into overreacting and parlaying that overreaction into a global socialist revolution. That's the difference between post-Marxism and Marxism. Marxism is direct action. Post-Marxism is indirect action. So, and along the lines of panicking, when is the time to panic? Rush Limbaugh has said, well, I'll tell you when it's time to panic. But he doesn't. He never does tell us when it's time. I'm going to tell you when it's time to panic. There are 2 signals, big, bold signals that warrant action. The first is if the left tries to get rid of the secret ballot. That is what doomed Venezuela. Venezuela voted Hugo Chavez into power, and very quickly they found out what a mistake they had made. But Hugo Chavez was cunning enough to change the voting laws to make the ballots public, so the government can find out who you voted for. And if you voted for the wrong thing or candidate, you could be punished, and were. So if you see any efforts to get rid of the secret ballot, that's time to get excited. If they actually succeed in some way, shape, or form, which I doubt, in getting rid of the secret ballot, that's time to panic. That's time to lock and load. The second is if the left tries to suspend elections, particularly the 2022 election. If it is true that the Republicans are expected to win and take control of the House in 2022, then that election is a threat to Democrat plans to stack the court and all of their other hopes and dreams and ambitions. I get the sense that Democrats, rank and file, and perhaps some of the politicians are tired of taking 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back. They win an election, then when they lose an election, a Republican comes in and negates all their gains, which is basically what Donald Trump did. So I see that they would probably be very interested in cheating in some way, shape, or form in 2022, either by getting rid of the secret ballot or very possibly trying to come up with an excuse to suspend the elections. And one of the excuses they could use is instability. They could, the Democrats are looking for any reason, especially the hardcore left, well, any of them in the Democrat Party, looking for any reason to be able to declare that this our government is a failure, that democracy is a failure. They want to be able to say, well, Mr. and Miss America, it was a noble experiment, but it didn't work. So now we're going to have to institute martial law and rule by decree. And the way they do that is through exaggerated claims of instability. That's why they're always talking about unity. Unity is simply a code word for stability. Okay, they figure if they can get enough people, and particularly enough foreign countries that have our bonds, excited about our stability, and maybe coming to the United States and claiming, hey, we're not sure we want to buy any more of your bonds, or we might even want to start cashing them in, calling the note, okay, then that will provide the Democrats with the excuse that they need to start shutting things down. Sorry, but we're going to have to suspend the 2022 elections. We're going to have to call out the National Guard, rule by decree, etc., etc. At that point, lock and load. When they start talking like that, they start looking for excuses. You find them, trying to gear up excuses for doing this kind of thing, for shutting down our democracy and suspending the election. Time to panic. Time to lock and load. And let all these crap bags on the left, let them know. We all need to let them know, hey, you want to even try that, you're going to be in big, big trouble. Okay, because 75 million Americans, and probably more, I would imagine there's a lot of rank and file Democrats that don't want to see the 2022 election suspended either. But you're going to get major blowback from 75 million Americans. And if we have to drag you out of office by your hair, kicking and screaming, so be it. So that's two of the situations where that if you see those occurring, time to panic, time to lock and load. Back in a minute. Thank you. Next week, more daily declarations for spiritual warfare and more about the two biggest threats to conservatism, neutrality and proving the status quo. That concludes another episode of The Drill. Be honest, be smart, and be beautiful. I'm Ron, and that's The Drill.